energy back into purification for yoga. Today we're going to go into our alternate nostril breathing. We haven't done it for a while, and I like it to sort of bring that balance of energies back into sync and just bring more peace and calm to our spirit. Okay, so pointy finger, middle finger on your forehead just to hold your hand in place. Your thumb will be used to block the one nostril, your ring finger to block the other nostril. It doesn't matter which hand you use as long as one of them is being used. We're going to start off with blocking our right nostril and inhaling through the left. Then we're going to hold it just for as long as you feel comfortable, and then block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, hold it, exhale through the left. Try and take nice, long, deep, steady breaths and go at your own pace. In through the left nostril first. Hold. Out through the right. In through the right. Hold. Out through the left, and continue. Finish up your last round, making sure your last exhale is through your left nostril. And then allow your breathing to return to its normal inflow and outflow. Okay, so we're going to start off again with warming up the wrists before we get into abusing them, but we're not really abusing them, but warming up the wrists. So we're closing our hands into fists and we're just circling them inwards. And then we're going to rotate them outwards. And now we're going to flick our fingers like stars, but you want to flick them and then open them wide, so it's an active movement, not just flick, 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 purposeful, flick. Gorgeous. Then we're going to place our hands in front of us. You can see we're still sitting in easy seat. Make sure your tummy is lifted, hips are tucked under. You're placing your hands down in front of you. We're creating that lift in the armpits again. Make sure that you're feeling like a broadening across the shoulders. And you're just going to try and lean up and over your hands. Over your hands. So not too much pressure on the wrists, but you're feeling that push movement. Push movement. Just getting those muscles warmed up, getting ready for action. Even strengthening them a wee bit. And relax. Then we're going to place them down at our sides next to our bum. And we're doing the exact same movement. So you're pushing down in the arms, but we're not lifting our bum. We're just pushing down in the arms. Also feeling a little bit of a pull in a different kind of way, which is actually stretching the fascia down the arms. So it's just activating and releasing. Activating and releasing. Keeping your belly lifted. So we're still in our easy seat position, but now we're going to put the tops of our hands on the floor beside our bum, and we're going to just be doing exactly what we were doing, but we're pushing down, but on the flats of our hands. So now you're getting a stretch up the front of your forearm. Keep the belly lifted, and make sure you're lifting in the armpits, not letting your shoulders come up to your ears, but they're pushing down, pulling the scaps together. And release, and push down, and release, and push down, and release, and push down, and hold the push down. You should be feeling it up the arms, and it's more of a fascia release than the normal muscle, so it feels slightly different, maybe even, I'm going to call it a bit tighter, but it's a nice stretch. Okay, so those are our wrists. You can shake them out. Round and round, up and down, just to wiggle them a bit. Okay, we're going to get up and stand at the front of our mats for our vinyasa to warm up our body before we get into our stretching. So we come standing at the front, make sure you're glutes down in your legs, the knees turn out slightly, the bum is active. Tuck your hips under, lift in your belly, arms are being pulled up long towards the ceiling. And slowly we swan dive down into our forward fold, Suck the belly up. I'm not worried about straight legs just yet because it's kind of first thing in the morning, and it's cold. So let them have a light bend and just place your fingertips on the floor, sucking the belly up, feeling your sternum being pulled towards the floor. Then bend the knees, place the hands on the floor, and take your right leg back into your lunge position. Again, remember to keep lifted in the belly as you push the hip flexor down towards the floor. Then push down on your hands, lifting under the armpits to create more space so you can take your left leg back into your plank position. Pop your knees on the floor if you need to, or chaturanga down. Tuck your chin towards your chest, squeezing your bum muscles and pushing up into your cobra position. Feel that sternum being pulled forward, and these bum muscles are pushing the hips into position, so you shouldn't feel it in your lower back. Tuck your toes up into your downward facing dog. Step in gently if you need to, and push down in your arms. Make sure that your shoulders are pushing away, wrapping into their sockets. And then walk your dog, lifting one foot at a time. Keep sucking your belly back, lifting in the tummy. Bend both knees and then get ready to pounce your right foot forward into its lunge position. Remember to keep your belly lifted, your back leg is straight and your bum is active. And then bring your left foot to the front to join your right foot into your forward fold, grabbing your ankles, sucking your belly down. And again, think about that sternum being pulled towards the floor. And slowly we come up, lifting our hands up to the ceiling, being pulled long, 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 long. And hands into your heart. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. And our hand, staying in our prayer position, lifts up towards the ceiling, being pulled long. You're really extending down your arms or up your arms, lifting in the belly. Bend your knees, allowing your body to gently come forward into your chair position. Hold the tummy, don't let it go into an arch. Tuck the hips under. Release the arms down onto the floor. Take your left foot back. Push down in your arms to make space for your right leg to go back. Come into your plank position. Make sure you're lifting in your arms and your armpits. You can pop your knees down if you need to, or otherwise just chaturanga. Remember to keep your bum active. Chin towards chest as you push up into your cobra, squeezing the bum, pulling your sternum forward, and lift your head to look ahead of you. Tuck your toes and lift your bum first up into your downward facing dog. Take a little step in if you need to. Push down in your arms, lift in the belly. Feel a lengthening going up your spine. Bend the knees and bring your left foot forward into your lunge position. Oh my. Weird things are happening today, guys. And bring your right foot forward to join your left, hanging in your forward fold. You can grab your ankles, try and lengthen up the legs now as they're starting to warm up a bit more. And gently roll up, taking your arms up to the ceiling and bring them back into that prayer position. Extend your arms away from you, tucking your hips under. Remember, extension is not an arch, but lengthening in the spine by tucking the hips under. And bring your hands back into your prayer position and take a few breaths. Keeping your hands in their prayer position, bend your knees, going back into that chair pose. Lift in the belly, make sure that you're not arching, lifting, creating space across your hip flexor area. And extend your right foot behind you into a lunge. Make sure your back bum muscle is working and active. You're trying to keep your hips nice and squared and not opening them up. And then we're going to drop the knee down towards the floor and up. Down towards the floor and up. Keep your belly active. Floor and up. Floor and up. And stay on the floor this time. From here, we're going into a gentle back bend. We're not using our arms today, so they're staying in the prayer position. Make sure your hips are tucked under and you're lifted in the belly as you gently lean back. You just go as far as you're comfortable and then lean into the front foot. Gently lean backwards. The back foot is tucked, and then we're straightening the front leg without using our hands on the floor. So we're working on our balance, using our tummy muscles. And you just lean as far forward as you're able, keeping the hips squared, maintaining your balance. Watch that these shoulders don't come up towards the ears. Keep them rotated into their sockets and down. Gently come up, bending the front knee again. Get ready as we lift back up into our lunge position. And then bring that right foot back to the front so that you're standing again with your hands in prayer position. Take a deep breath. And another. Bend the knees. Going into our chair position, make sure these hips are tucked under and not arching. Now we're going to extend our left foot behind us into our lunge position. Make sure you're not opening in the hips, but keeping them stable, lifting in the belly, squeezing the bum muscle. And gently drop the knee towards the floor and back up. Floor and back up. Floor and back up, floor and back up, floor and stay on the floor. Keeping lifted in the belly, tucking the hips under. We're going into that arch so you feel like you're being pulled up. Oh, I don't know how to explain this exactly. So you don't want to arch where you're letting everything go, but you feel like something is being pulled up and over a bulamikisi. So you're lifting in the chest, shoulders kind of area, and then lift in the tummy, extending backwards and lean forward. Gently lean back, the back foot's toes are tucked, and we're starting to extend the front leg. Keep lifted in the belly to maintain the balance, and you lean forward as far as you can. Gently come back up, bending the front leg. Lift the back knee so that you're back in your lunge position. And get ready to bring that left foot back to the right. So you're standing up tall, still hands in prayer position. Make sure your bum is still active, knees are turning slightly out. And just take a few deep breaths. And gently come back into your forward fold position. Place your hands on the floor. Let's extend our right leg back behind us, then our left into our plank position. And then we're going to push up into our downward facing dog. Take a little step in if you need to. Make sure that your arms are pushing into the ground and rotating into their sockets. Bring your feet together and suck the belly up, and we're doing a little bounce forward, just as far as you can go. So you bounce, 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 and then bounce, bounce, back. Bounce, bounce forward, bounce, bounce, back. So we're working on our arm strength here, so it's important that you maintain this push up in the shoulders, lengthening down the spine. Bounce, 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 bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce. One more time. Bounce, 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 back. Extend and come down into child's pose and take a short break. Really extend your arms away from you so that you can feel a nice lengthening down them as you lie here. Remember to breathe. The more you breathe, the more you trick your body into relaxing. Gently come up, and we're in our position for cat-cow. So hands are nicely positioned under the shoulders, knees are nicely positioned under the hips. We're not doing our cat-cow, it's just the position we're in. Make sure you're lifted in the belly, lifted in the armpits, so these shoulders aren't sitting up towards the ears again. You're extending them away from you. Belly isn't arched and like just hanging. You're actively pulling it up, holding it there. We are going to start with our left leg. So you're leaning into the right knee and you're lifting the left leg behind you. It's bent, and you're then going to lift the right foot. It's again working on balance, so feel how you change the pressure in your hands to help compensate. But try not to lean to the side or try and compensate with the hips. You want to stay solid in the hips. Okay, so the knee is behind you, and then we're bringing it forward, trying not to let the hips wiggle as you bring it forward and then back again. When you bring it back, you're lifting it a little bit higher, then you let it drop slightly and bring it forward to your elbow. Then back behind you and forward to your elbow. Back behind you and forward to your elbow. Back behind you, forward to your elbow. Back behind you, and allow it to come down onto the ground. Take a short moment, breathe. And then we swap over to the right leg. Right leg gets lifted behind you, it's bent. Then the left foot comes off the floor, so we're just leaning on the knee. Make sure your hips are tucked under and you're not skewing and doing weird things with the hips. And then the right knee comes up towards the right elbow. And then back behind you, lifting it a little bit more, then slightly down and back towards the elbow. And behind you, elbow, behind you, elbow, behind you, elbow, behind you, back onto the floor, and take a moment in child's pose. Slowly come up, so you're sitting on your shins at the moment. Okay, so the next part that we're working on is, again, coming into the core muscles, which are so important for pretty much everything we're doing. But we're also getting into the hammy muscles. So the one part of this little sequence might spasm and ache, but just feel yourself how far you can allow your body to go without going into too much like, it's spasming really badly, because our spasms actually alert us to our weak muscles. So we're wanting to like do a subtle movement, and this is a very subtle movement that I'm talking about that we're going to get to, that just starts getting into the hammies, and you'll feel a niggle, especially if the hammies are a bit weak. If you get to the niggle, hold it. If it goes into full-on spasm, you come out, you stretch out the hammy, and then we'll jump back in. Okay. So we're going from our bum. I think I might move back a little bit actually. So from our bum on our feet, we're going to lift up onto our knees. Tuck these hips forward. Make sure you're squeezing the bum, lifting the belly up. So our forksy bonnet is really curling up towards us. Or upwards anyway. So you're pushing, 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 pushing. Hands can be placed in heart. I don't want them up ahead of us. We're just doing a gentle back bend here. So you're squeezing your bum, pushing your hips forward, lifting in the chest and going as far as you can. And then you're leaning back so the bum is moving towards the bum. Sorry guys, the bum is moving towards the ankles again. But you only go as far as you can feel that you can then come back up again. You don't want to go so far that you're like, oh, okay, I met my match. So it's again you gauging. Lord, it's you gauging where you're able to get to. So you push the hips forward, tuck under, lean backwards. Bring yourself back up and back down again. Back up, back down. Back up, back down. So you should be feeling your quads nicely. And then we're going to come back to this front position. And this is a very subtle movement. So you're tucking your toes, keeping your hands in this position, keeping your hips pushing forward. And then you're gently trying to lean forward until you feel your hammies start to activate. It feels like your toes are going to lift off the floor. So it's literally a little balancing act. And you hold it. See, I nearly fell forward there. Getting into those hammies and relax. Again, if you feel the hammy spasming, stretch out the hammy and then jump back in. We're trying to strengthen these dudes. Okay, again, make sure your hips are tucked under, belly is lifted, and you try and lean forward just as far as you can. It's subtle. You want to feel the hammies doing something. It's over here. And come back and release. One more. Okay, tuck the hips, lift the belly, lean forward. Just to get into those hammies. And relax. And come sit again. We're going to then go into a little bit of a floor-based vinyasa. And I'm just giving you a 2-second break after the hammies were done, and especially if you need to stretch them out before we get started. We're just going to remember to keep lifting the hips, tucking the hips under, lifting the belly, tucking the hips under as we're doing our movement through or on the floor. So you tuck the hips, lift the belly up onto your knees. We're going to go into that slight camel again. So hands into chest, push the hips forward, leaning back. Then we're coming forward. Feel like you're curling over a little ball. The hands are coming towards the floor in front of you. You're going to drag your nose along the floor, lifting up in the bum. So your bum feels like the coccyx are being pulled up to the ceiling, but you keep the tummy lifted. Then lean forward into your cobra, pushing your bum towards the floor, squeezing these bum cheeks. Tuck your toes, lift up into your downward facing dog, and then come back onto your knees, stretching out your arms. Drop your toes onto the floor, come up into that camel space, hands into your heart, push your hips forward, lift in the belly, rotate your shoulders down, let them pull down towards the floor rather than up towards your ears, and lean gently into a back bend. Then come forward, dropping your hands towards the floor out in front of you. You drag your nose along the floor, lifting the bum up. Then push into your cobra position. Squeeze the bum, pushing the hips towards the floor, and feel your sternum being pulled forward. Tuck the toes, lift up into your downward facing dog, and then drop onto your knees, extending your arms away from you. Let the toes unravel, come back up onto your knees, push up in the thighs, pushing your hips forward, tucking your hips under, hands into prayer position, go into that back bend, come back, crawl over, place your hands on the floor in front of you, drag your nose along the floor, bum staying up, lifting in the belly, up into cobra, squeeze the bum to push the hips forward, pull the sternum forward. Come back onto your feet, extend your arms away from you, just to stretch lightly. You want to feel it pulling down the sides of your arms, down the sides of your scap area, rather next to your scap bones. Then you can come down onto your belly. This next one we're going to work on can be a bit tough in the arms, so just look after yourself. But we're doing side planks to work on pushing these arm muscles down. But I'm going to keep us on our forearms as opposed to going up onto our hands. So your forearms are actually going to curl in like they're stacked next to each other. And you're going to lift in your belly into a plank position. Then we're going to rotate to the right, leaving the right hand on the floor, extending the left arm up. Make sure you're not dropping in your bum, but lifting up, pushing in this armpit, lifting in the armpit. Then you place your left hand back down, twist towards the left, so your left forearm is now on the floor, right hand extends up. Keep lifting in the body. Twist around, back over to your right side. And then twist around to the left again. Over onto your right again. Over onto your left again. Over onto your right again. And this time you're allowed to drop your bum. So you drop your bum down and back up. Down and back up. Down and back up. Twist over to the left. Down and back up. Down and back up. Down and back up. And collapse onto the floor. You can come to your seated position when you're ready. We're going to extend one leg out in front of us. So let's start with the right leg straight out in front of us. The left leg is coming foot up into next to your inner thigh, lower down or by your knee, depending on your flexibility. And then we're going to feel our hips tucking under and lifting in the belly. And we're going to extend our body towards our foot, but we want to remember to squeeze our left bum cheek to help get this knee down. But in so doing, we're also feeling almost like a pushing down into the earth, if that makes sense. So it's not that we're squeezing this bum cheek and this leg's relaxing. We're actually squeezing or pushing both down towards the earth, even with our tummies. And then we lift and grab your toes, your ankle, your shin. Keeping this guy pulling down towards the earth. Again, think about your sternum being pulled towards your foot as opposed to your head. to take our left hand and we're going to try and grab the outside of the foot. If you can't reach the outside of the foot, you can push it against the ankle or the calf, whatever works for you better. And then we're going to use our right hand to help turn us towards the right side. And then you want to feel your leg pushing away from you, squeezing that bum so that you end up getting into the ITB band on the straight leg. So you want to feel it sort of middle of your leg going into your bum. That's the muscle that we're trying to extend here. Really is like a pushing away or pushing down with the legs. And remember to breathe. Gently relax, and we're now going to grab, maybe that's the wrong thing to say. We're going to be turning our body towards our left knee, using our right elbow to push against our thigh and push our chest open towards the left. Then you can extend your left hand up and over, trying to reach your toes, but it's okay if you can't. If you can grab your toe and twist a little bit deeper, pushing your toe into your hands to help extend you a little bit longer. Again, keep tucking the hips under and feel like those legs are pushing down towards the ground. Watch this guy on the left, that his knees not lifting up, push down. And gently release and come back up, and let's swap sides. So the left leg extends straight, right leg, you can bring your foot up to your forksy bonnet, inner thigh next to your knee. Extend your leg out nice and straight. You're trying to keep these hips squared, so it's not that they're opening up but tucking into their sockets. Lift in the belly, tuck in the hips, arms extending long. Feel like there's a bullmakisi here that you're going over. These legs are pulling down into the ground, and you lift up and you grab your toes, your ankle, your calf, and feel your sternum being pulled like a piece of string, just coming from center chest, pulling down towards your ankle. Keep pushing down in your right knee so that it's pulling towards the ground. Then we're going to take the right hand to the outside of our left foot. The left hand comes onto the floor to help us twist towards the left side, and we're pushing this leg into the hand to help us get into that ITB band stretch. Gently release. Now we're turning towards our right knee. Our body is trying to face more at the right knee. Then we're going to use our left elbow to push against our left thigh to help us open up our chest towards the right, and extend your right hand up and over towards your left foot. If you can't grab your left foot, you just stay here, stretching up your side. And if you can, just grab your toe and help yourself be pulled a little bit deeper. And then push your toe into your hand. Make sure you're pushing your legs down into the ground. And we're back in action. You push your foot, remember to push your legs down into the ground, and you're pushing your foot against your hand. Remember to breathe, trying to relax into the position. And gently release. We're going to now go into our log stretch. So it's double pigeon, getting both bum cheeks at one time. Make sure your ankle and your knee are sort of in a straight line. And then you stack your other ankle and your knee on top. It's fine if you're sitting with your knee like up towards your chest if you're very tight. Just try and relax and allow it to be. And the more comfortable you get and the less painful it gets, you can start leaning forward. Make sure you're keeping your hips tucked under and your belly lifted, and you allow yourself to drop down towards the floor. Remember to only go as far as you can, and try not to let yourself go into a place of enormous pain. Like, it must be a stretch that you can cope with, because when your body goes into pain, it then tenses and it's like, no. You want to get it to a place where it's like, okay, I can handle that. And then just sort of like a lullaby, you're gently allowing it to go deeper and deeper as your body relaxes and tries not to fight against the stretch, if that makes sense. Try and go a little bit deeper if you're able to. Again, just like a lullaby, slowly but surely allowing your body to drop little bit by little bit. And gently walk your hands back up if you were that far. Lifting your legs, and we're swapping. So now the leg that was on top will go underneath. Again, remember, knee and ankle are aligning. Stack your ankle and your knee on top of the bottom one. Lift in the belly, tuck in the hips, and start leaning forward. If you're up here, it's fine. We're just waiting for your hip gently, like a lullaby, to release and allow itself to drop. Trying to have that effortless ease. That's what we're aiming for. Breathe. Try and allow yourself to drop a little bit deeper if you're able. Gently walk your hands back up. You can sit in an easy seat as we stretch out our necks and our arms a little bit before we get ready for relaxation. Make sure you're lifted in the belly, tucking your hips under, feeling that lengthening up the spine. Shoulders are rotated into their sockets, just gently pulling down. We're going to take our right hand over to the left side of our head and lift up and over that tennis ball, pulling our head towards our right shoulder. Release and take the left hand onto the right side of the head, lifting it up and over that tennis ball towards the left shoulder. Release. Interlace your fingers behind your head and pull your chin towards your hands as opposed to pulling it down towards your chest. So you're just creating a bit of resistance against the hands. So the hands pull forward, the head pulls back. Then gently feel a lengthening up the neck and pull the chin towards your chest. Release your right hand and pull that chin towards your armpit. Again, creating a little bit of resistance in your hand and head connection here. So your hand pulls down, your head pushes slightly back. It's very gentle, it's not hard. And swap over to the right armpit and the right arm, pulling your head down and letting your head push gently against the hand. Release. Take your left hand out in front of you and we're going to pull it across the chest, making sure that your shoulder stays down and your right hand pulls against your forearm and your forearm pushes gently back against your right hand. So it's not that we're pulling it across our chest completely, we're creating a little bit of resistance. Then the right hand extends forward and we pull it across our chest, again creating that resistance between the wrists and the forearm, not pulling that right arm completely towards the left shoulder. And release. Rotate your shoulders backwards and forwards. And give your whole body a little bit of a jiggle. And you can get ready for a bit of relaxation. You can lie down or sit, it's entirely up to you. Get your socks on, your warm clothes, grab a blanket if you want to, grab a cushion if you're going to sit, or grab a cushion if you're going to lie down, whatever floats your boat. And we'll get ready. To breathe deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, feeling complete relaxation as your body exhales. Deep breath in through the nose, and relaxation out through the mouth. Feel your body releasing tension down into the earth with every exhale you make. And feel as if every inhale is pulling in more and more fun, light, bubbly energy into your body. Feel your body softening down into the ground. And more of this light, fun, bubbly energy being pulled into your body. Feel it being pulled into your toes, into your feet, your ankles, your shins and your calves, your knees, your quads and your hammies, your hips, your lower back, up your stomach, up your spine, around your ribs and your chest, into your shoulders, down your arms, into your elbows, forearms, wrists, palms of your hands, fingers, wraps around your neck, up the back of your head, over onto your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, into your jaws, your tongue, your cheeks. Your entire body is filled with this light, fun, bubbly energy. Sit breathing in and out, reveling in this softness, this lightness, this fun. Now I want you to delve deep into your psyche and ask yourself, what in your daily life blocks you from feeling this light, fun energy more often? Allow the answers to just pop up into your mind. And then I'd like you to imagine the exact opposite of what's blocking you. So let's pretend stress is blocking you from feeling this fun and light feeling. opposite of stress would be relaxation. So obviously work with your thoughts and ideas and find that opposite. And then I want you to imagine that starting at the crown of your head is this waterfall that is exquisitely moving through your whole body. And at the crown of your head, where this waterfall begins, you're now pouring in that opposite essence. So like I said, if you had stress, we're pouring in the essence of relaxation. Whatever yours is, you're pouring in the opposite of that. And imagine that essence having a color, and that color drops into this waterfall and starts spreading throughout your whole body. And if it comes across those blocked things, imagine this colorful essence now overcoming that blocked motion with this now reverse, light and bubbly feeling. And it just keeps on dropping through your body, this waterfall, pulling this essence all over your body. If you found that you had more than one thing blocking you, you add more than one essence and just allow it to pour through your whole being. Feel the lightness and the goodness in your body, in your mind, throughout your entire being, that these essences are pulling through you. Feel your body relaxing more. Feel the release of tension. And with peace and gratitude, start taking a deep breath in and allowing these energies to solidify in your body as you exhale. Deep breath in and slowly exhale. And last, deep, deep, deep breath in. And as you exhale, start wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Bring your knees up towards your chest, extending your arms out to the sides, and let both knees roll over to the left, giving you a gentle spinal twist. And then gently roll over to the right. Bring your knees back up to your chest and help them lift you into your seated position. We'll just do one closing Om, so you can have your hands on your knees or into your heart space. Deep breath in. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.